Well, today in our Wonderful Day in the Lord uh, podcast, we're looking at a big swatch of Scripture going from chapter 25, verse 1 to chapter 27, verse 21. And we're looking now at the furniture, at the tabernacle and its furniture. And in chapter 25, he tells the people of Israel, verse 2, to raise a contribution, free will offering to pay for the building of the tabernacle and its furnitures. And that's what they do. And he gives them a pattern for the tabernacle, but he starts with the furniture. And that's what we have here inside the tabernacle, or connected with the tabernacle, was this furniture. The first thing he talks about is the Ark of the Covenant. And the Ark of the Covenant is right here, as we'll see. The Ark of the Covenant is made up of this box. Inside that box would be the Ten Commandments. There's two things in here. Also later on, Aaron's a jar of manna and Aaron's rod as well. These poles were made for the ark to be carried by the priest. They were not to touch this ark, but they would carry it when they moved with these poles. They also had the mercy seat, which sat on top of the Ark of the Covenant, and these figurines of cherubim that was over top of the Ark of the Covenant. And there the Lord would meet with the people in a very special way. This was inside the Holy of Holies, and was the only item inside of there. Then he moves on to talk about the table of showbread, which is right here. This is a table that was set up off to the side with 12 loaves of unleavened bread that would be replaced every day, and this was a part of their worship as well. He moves on to the golden lampstand, which is right here. This is the only item that I can tell that was made of pure gold. So this is extremely valuable. These were lit perpetually. We'll find out later on in chapter 27 that these were to be maintained as lit all the time as a testimony perpetually for the Lord. There's 7 different features of this menorah, or the golden lampstand. There's also, as we move on in the chapter, a bronze altar. Bronze altar is right here. This is where the sacrifices were made. This was outside the tabernacle itself, as you'll see a little later on. And this is where the bulls and the lambs and so forth were actually sacrificed. The priests would then come here and wash their hands before they continue on with the other aspects of the ceremony. There was also a court in here between this section here and the actual tabernacle itself. And there was also an altar of incense as well. Chapter 30, verse 1, this is the altar of incense here, where incense was sacrificed to the Lord. This was just outside the Holy of Holies, and only, like I said, the Ark of the Covenant inside the Holy of Holies itself. And so these are the pictures we have. I want to show you also. Okay, here's an aerial view, if you can see that, of the tabernacle itself. So you see some of the items I just mentioned a moment ago, the altar on the outside and so forth. The tabernacle itself was covered with these curtains of different kinds, so you could not actually see in there unless you were a priest or a Levite who was involved in some way. But inside of there were these pieces of furniture that I just mentioned just a moment ago. So there was a curtain, there was a covering over the over the tabernacle. Then there was another covering over top of that one, apparently to keep it dry and without the elements bothering it. So this is our picture of the things that they were doing there. This is all part of the system. The court of the tabernacle was all this whole feature here, this whole portion surrounded by this fence would be the court, and certain ones could go in certain parts of the court, but only the high priest could go in the Holy of Holies. And he only did that once a year on the Day of Atonement. Also there is, and I'll show this to you. I thought I had a better picture, but hopefully you can see this here. Connected with the Ark of the Tabernacle is the priest as well, and there is his garment. If you can see that, this garment was very detailed in this particular section of Scripture. All sorts of details. It was also is a place of glory and beauty. The passage tells us. So this was very important that the priest, especially the high priest, be garbed in a certain way. All this was part of the worship service of the people of Israel. And so as they were involved in their worship, it wasn't just free for all. They were very detailed things to do. The priest knew their role, and each one of them did what they were supposed to do. And all this furniture played a role in that. I would encourage you not to spiritualize these things too far. We do know that some of these things are very symbolic of the things that Christ would do for us. For example, the Ark of the Covenant and the mercy seat is talked about quite a bit in the New Testament, especially the book of Hebrews, and has definite significance for us as far as our salvation. The altar in which animals were sacrificed pointed to Christ's sacrifice for us. So there is much here. Christ is the light of the world. When he spoke about that, the people knew exactly what he was talking about. He's the light of the world. So there's symbolism here that points to what Christ has done for us and is doing. But don't try to spiritualize every little piece of the tabernacle and every sheet and every bolt and every whatever. You'll go into just plain imaginary fantasy if you do that. But these things were very much part of the worship of the people of Israel in the Old Testament. And so even though that might not pertain to you directly, it's very good to know a little bit about that. So I hope this is helpful and you got a little bit of insight into the tabernacle and its worship.